Multiple Sclerosis Today. This is a dedicated audio channel inspired by the comprehensive book Living with Multiple Sclerosis, a guide for patients, families, and caregivers. This podcast is designed for anyone touched by multiple sclerosis, patients, families, caregivers, and healthcare professionals, offering clear, compassionate, and actionable guidance for every stage of your MS journey. Now, here's your host of the Multiple Sclerosis Today podcast, Andres Ortiz. Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to Multiple Sclerosis Today. I'm so glad you're here with us. This season's finale podcast will focus on anxiety and depression in MS, and how keeping these mental health challenges in check can prevent further complications. Whether you're newly diagnosed or have been living with MS for a while, anxiety and depression are very common problems for people who are diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. It is important to know why these feelings happen, how they change daily life, and what can be done to help. You see, ignoring these problems can make MS worse and decrease the quality of life for people living with this condition. We will explain how anxiety and depression can start in MS, the effects on life and health, and how doctors and therapists work to treat them, and what can happen if they're not kept in check. So let's just start. If this is the first time you're here, what is multiple sclerosis? Multiple sclerosis, or MS, is a disease that affects the brain and spinal cord. In MS, the immune system attacks the nerve cells and damages their protective covering called myelin. This keeps messages from traveling smoothly between the body and the brain. MS can cause problems with walking, vision, coordination, memory, energy, but MS also changes and how people think and feel emotionally. So what are anxiety and depression? We hear these terms a lot. Well, anxiety means feeling worried, nervous, or afraid, even when there's no clear reason for these feelings. Some people with anxiety have trouble sleeping or concentrating or relaxing. Depression is a problem where people feel sad most days and lose interest in things that they used to enjoy. People with depression may feel tired all the time and have trouble thinking clearly, and may even have thoughts about dying or hurting themselves. So why do people with MS feel anxiety and depression? Well, people with MS may be more likely to feel anxious and depressed because MS is unpredictable. MS symptoms can suddenly get worse and there's no cure. So living with MS is extremely stressful. Here are some reasons why anxiety and depression are more common in people with MS. First, the disease itself changes the brain chemicals and can damage areas that control mood. Uncertainty about symptoms and the future can make people feel helpless and worried. MS can affect thinking, cause pain, and reduce independence. So these problems can lead to sadness, frustration, also medicine side effects, and physical symptoms can also make moods worse. So how many people with MS feel anxious and depressed? Well, studies show that depression affects about 30 to 54% of people with MS, and anxiety affects 22 to 41% or more. These rates are much higher than in people who do not have MS. Some more facts about that is you see women with MS tend to feel more anxious than men. People with MS and anxiety often also have depression. Anxiety and depression sometimes appear before someone is officially diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Well, how can anxiety and depression change life for people with MS? Well, you see, if someone with MS feels anxious or depressed, it can make every part of life harder. Some major effects include not following medicine instructions or skipping appointments, leading to worse health and more MS symptoms. Troubles with family, friends, and work because of feeling sad, worried, or tired. less motivated to eat healthy foods, exercise, or join in activities, more pain, trouble sleeping, and fatigue, worse memory and difficulty concentrating, less hope for the future, and more risk of suicidal thoughts, problems with self-esteem and feeling valuable. The importance of treating anxiety and depression in MS. Treating anxiety and depression is important because it can improve moods, boost energy, and even help the brain and body. Studies show that when anxiety and depression are treated, people are healthier, happier, and manage MS symptoms a lot better. Now, how do we treat anxiety and depression in MS? Well, doctors use several ways to help people with MS who feel anxious or depressed. Treatments usually include a combination of therapy, medicine, support, and lifestyle changes. Number one, talk therapy. This includes working with a psychologist, counselor, or a social worker to talk about feelings and learn new ways to cope. Cognitive behavior therapy, known as CBT, teaches people to change negative thoughts and practice healthy actions. CBT can be done in person or online and has strong evidence of success in MS. Acceptance and commitment therapy, that's ACT, helps people accept difficult feelings and focus on what is important, like family or hobbies, even when MS makes life hard. Group therapy. People join a group session to talk about experiences with others who understand what it is like to live with MS. Sharing stories, building community gives hope to folks. Medicines. Doctors may prescribe antidepressants or anti-anxiety medications to help balance the chemicals in the brain that affect mood. Medicines can make therapy more effective. Stress management. Stress reduction is a key part of slaying emotions with MS. The relaxation techniques like belly breathing, muscle relaxation, and meditation can help calm the mind. Mindfulness and yoga can help people focus on the present instead of worrying about symptoms or the future. Physical activity. Exercise, even simple walks or stretches, boost brain chemicals that fight sadness and anxiety. Regular activities help with fatigue and sleep as well. Social support. Having friends, families, support groups, and caring doctors make a big difference. You see, people with strong social support have fewer symptoms of anxiety and depression and recover faster from mood problems. Healthy habits. Eating nutritious foods, getting enough sleep, and sticking to a routine helps the body and the mind. Avoiding drugs and alcohol is also important because these can make anxiety and depression worse. Now, there are some new treatments or newer treatments, including brain stimulation like transcranial magnetic stimulation, dietary changes, or therapy combined with that with MS specialists. And each treatment plan should involve an individualized program for you. So, what happens if anxiety and depression are ignored in MS? Well, untreated anxiety and depression in people with multiple sclerosis can lead to other serious mental health problems, including a greater risk for additional psychiatric disorders and more severe symptoms. Leaving these conditions unmanaged can make emotional health decline, increasing the likelihood of suicidal thoughts, substance abuse, and significant cognitive difficulties like memory and concentration problems. Ignoring anxiety and depression in MS raises the risk for suicidal thoughts and behavior, especially when both anxiety and depression are present together. Greater chances of developing substance abuse using alcohol or drugs to cope, and more severe mood swings, anger, irritability, social isolation, and problems with relationships because of the ongoing sadness or worry. Enhanced cognitive health decline, including including worsening memory, attention, and executive functions, higher chance for diagnosis with other psychiatric conditions such as panic disorders, obsessive compulsive disorders, or severe adjustment disorders. Why this happens? Well, see, MS can cause damage in parts of the brain that regulate emotion and other mental functions. If anxiety and depression are not treated, this damage can affect the brain even more, leading to other disorders and weaker ability to cope with the disease. So when left without help, anxiety and depression in MS can snowball into additional mental health problems, making life harder and increasing risk of self-harm or medical crisis. Early treatment is critical to protect the mental health and prevent these severe consequences. Well, what can family and friends do to help out? Well, support from your loved ones and healthcare professionals is key for managing anxiety and depression in MS. Families and friends can listen, encourage, and join in healthy routines and activities. Doctors should screen for anxiety and depression at every visit and refer patients to mental health specialists. Communities and support groups can offer friendship, education, and hope. How can people living with MS help themselves? By learning about MS and mental health. Knowledge can reduce fear and self-blame. Talk openly with your doctors about your feelings, your symptoms, and changes in mood. Connect with other people who have MS to share experiences and advice. Practice relaxation and mindfulness regularly. Ask for help when feeling overwhelmed. Reaching out is a signal of strength, not a signal of weakness. Now, anxiety and depression are very common for people with MS. These problems can change how people think, feel, and live their daily lives in each step. But treatments work, and every person with MS deserves to feel heard, supported, and hopeful. Ignoring anxiety and depression only makes life with MS harder. With help from caring people and skilled professionals, there is a way to feel better and live well, even with MS. So if you want to take the next step and explore local MS groups or national organizations like the National MS Society, remember, your journey with MS is unique, so own it, advocate for yourself, and live boldly. Thank you for listening to Multiple Sclerosis Today on the topic of anxiety and depression. And if you found this episode helpful, please share it with someone who might need it. If you feel that this podcast has been beneficial to you and your loved ones in explaining your MS journey, please hit the subscribe button so that you can receive automatic updates and notifications on the upcoming podcast. If you'd like me to cover other topics involving multiple sclerosis, just drop me a request at multiplesclerosistoday@gmail.com. Again, that's multiplesclerosistoday@gmail.com. So let's take a moment to look back at the insightful episodes that we've shared, and we encourage you to revisit them as you continue your journey with MS. In Season 1, we tackled a wide range of important topics. In Episode 1, we tackled understanding MS basics and what it is and how it affects the nervous system. In Episode 2, navigating the complexities of MS diagnosis and the emotional response. In Episode 3, managing primary progressive MS and adapting to life after diagnosis. In Episode 4, overcoming MS-related pain with practical tips and holistic strategies. In Episode 5, exploring the gut microbiome's surprising role in MS symptoms. In Episode 6, clarifying treatment options to help you make informed decisions. In Episode 7, sharing personal stories of resilience and hope from the MS community. In Episode 8, discussing vocational rehab and behavioral balancing of work and life with MS. In Episode 9, addressing the challenges of MS fatigue and strategies to regain energy, and also advocating for yourself and building a strong healthcare team. Each episode was designed to provide you with expert guidance and patient experiences and actionable advice to help you feel empowered and supported. If you haven't already, make sure that you revisit these episodes. They are a rich resource for anyone living with MS or supporting someone who is. So you can revisit the season by going to youtube.com/Multiple Sclerosis Today, which will take you directly to the channel. We're excited to announce that Season 2 will be launching in January 2026, bringing you even more in-depth discussions and new research breakthroughs and practical health tips. So thank you for allowing us to be part of your MS journey. And remember, you're so much more than your MS. So keep learning and moving forward and have your best life possible, and don't let MS stop you. You got this. Have an awesome day, and we'll see you in Season 2. Facing MS, Living with Multiple Sclerosis, a guide for patients, families, and caregivers, is packed with practical advice, real stories, and expert insights. So take control of your MS journey and order your copy today and live your best life with MS. Available at Amazon.com. Living with MS can feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to define you. Whether you're newly diagnosed or supporting a loved one, the book Living with Multiple Sclerosis, a guide for patients, families, and caregivers, will help you define what is multiple sclerosis, understanding the effects, and learning how you can control your MS. The book also talks about MS in children and adolescents, treatment options, caregiver strategies, using technology, financial planning, employment strategies and disability, real patient perspectives, family dynamics, hope, support, and practical advice. So order your copy today and take control of your journey and empower yourself and your loved ones. Available at Amazon.com. Did you know that MS can affect your thinking? Chapter 4 of Living with Multiple Sclerosis explains how. You'll learn about memory problems and attention issues and a whole bunch more. Discover how these changes impact daily life and work. You'll also get informed about cognitive rehabilitation techniques that can really help. Remember, knowledge is power in managing your MS, so get your copy today at Amazon.com.